Once again, it's John with the Cedar Mountain Outpost and the ongoing series of meeting our musicians and helping make our clientele have a connection with the musicians that play here. Today, I'm with Jon Weisberger. Jon is Grammy nominated. He's won many awards from the the International Bluegrass Music Association? Yes. Yeah. And you've been playing for a long time. Originally from Yellow Springs, Ohio.
Yes. Yep.
And home of Antioch College. And you were originally a classically trained musician.
Yeah.
Are there commonalities between the type of music you'll be playing on Sunday, or what commonalities do you find between that and bluegrass?
Not a lot, actually. Well, no. There's classical music, at least into the 20th century, focused a lot on melody, and you find that also in vernacular music, folk music, which bluegrass is a subset. So yeah, I think that's probably the main one. There are a lot of jokes among fiddle players, particularly because the violin is the instrument that really crosses both categories about what the difference between a violin and a fiddle is, and the actual answer is it's all according to context and musical context. So,
is there more of a difference between a violinist and a fiddle player?
Probably, yes. Although there are some players who have done a fabulous job in both realms. So it's possible, but it's very different. Especially in the right hand. Especially in the right hand. Classical music, I would say, tends to be the rhythms tend to be kind of squared off. You notice this in classical notation. Is great for notating pitches, but it's not so good for notating sophisticated rhythms because you don't really find them in classical music as much syncopation and whatnot as you do in jazz or bluegrass or country music, things like that. So, so it can be difficult to go from one to the other. But there are some great musicians who've done.
Do you find, speaking of musical styles, the crossover of gospel, or how much gospel do you feel is in bluegrass? And I don't necessarily mean gospel as in the specific genre of gospel,
right.
But gospel as in religious music.
Yeah, so from the very beginning of bluegrass, which to me is Bill Monroe's band in 1946 to 47, when Earl Scruggs and Lester Flatt were in the band. When they made their first record, they made 28 records for Lester and Earl went their separate ways, and almost a third of those were gospel songs. So right from the beginning, the gospel songs have been embedded in bluegrass. It's not surprising, kind of given its origins, in rural popular music where there's a lot of gospel music, and a lot of gospel singing, and a lot of bluegrass musicians in the first and second generations grew up, going to summer singing camps and singing schools and learning shape note singing and singing out of these old hymnals, and they brought those songs with them and turned them into bluegrass songs. So it's always been an important part of the music to me, and I've written a fair number of gospel songs, actually.
Excellent. Your primary instrument would be the upright bass. What will you be playing on Sunday?
I'll be playing guitar. I'll be playing guitar, and my friend Nick Dauphiné is coming along to play some mandolin. So we're going to kind of do hopefully a little bit of a modernist take on the old the brother duets of the 1930s, guitar and mandolin, the Monroe brothers, and the Blue Sky Boys, and Carl and Hardy, and the Delmore brothers and whatnot. The Delmore brothers actually had two guitars. Anyway, so I'll mostly be playing guitar. I have a beautiful guitar that I love very much that I bought just a couple of years ago, right after I moved here, in fact. So I'll have that with me. It's pretty special.
Excellent. Well, I have to say that one of my favorite radio shows, you may have actually been involved with it, and this would have been from 8 in the morning to noon on WOBO out of
gosh.
Batavia, Ohio, the Bluegrass Roundup. And I remember that Ginny always had a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done a lot of different things. You're a musician, you're a producer, you're a writer, but you've also been a DJ.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of radio over the years, actually. And WOBO was basically, I had a very brief stint on WAIF in Cincinnati, and then spent a couple of years on WOBO, then spent maybe a year or two on WYSO in Yellow Springs. And then from 2006 to 2018, I produced and scripted and then co-hosted a show called Handpicked with Del McCurry on satellite radio in West Junction. So I've spent a lot of time behind a broadcaster's mic as well as a performer. Yeah.
Well, you're a great asset to have in the area, and that's also to have playing on Sunday. We're really looking forward to it. Thanks for coming up to talk to me.
Absolutely, I'm excited. Excited to come out and play.